what made me come to that decision at the age of 58 to retire and become a nomadic retiree. There's a few things, a 58-year-old product line manager. I'm managing a product, not managing people. So I was what you call an individual contributor. Nothing wrong with that. But my earning potential was basically maxed out, right? The situation I was in, I wasn't going to get a promotion. There was no real career path other than becoming a people manager. But the way my particular organization was, that wasn't going to happen. So I was fine. I was pretty secure in my job. But I was going to get 3% rise, 4% rise each year. And that was going to be it. So that was one aspect. The other one is my company mandated that we take a week off, call it shutdown, in December of last year, simply because they needed to save money, and that was one way to do it rather than doing any layoffs. So I was working it, so I had to take a holiday when I really didn't want to. And third one was there was a 10% reduction in salary that would have been paid back, but because they had financial difficulties, they mandated a 10% salary cut for everybody. So that really was just the dynamic of the situation. Now, it's better than getting laid off, but that was just an undercurrent of how things were going at the company. Secondly, I look around me. I work with a bunch of engineers, and almost all of them are way younger than me. There's a couple of old guys like me, but pretty much the longer you're staying in that position as a product line manager, invariably you're going to become the oldest guy or one of the oldest people there. And I was getting that way, and you can feel it. Not obviously, but you can feel it. So that's just a feeling, right? When you get 58 years old and you're a product line manager and you've probably maxed out your career, that's the way it is. And I was going to flatline for another 7 years, basically, in terms of career progress. So that is an underlying feeling. The second thing that made me question work another 7 years was that my wife got laid off in January. So she got laid off in January from a very well-paying job. She'd been there for 3 years, and when she got laid off, and I was having these feelings about my job, I'm thinking, well, hold on a second. What are we going to do here? What's the real plan? So that was really an opportunity to think outside the box. And my first thought was, well, I'll work another year, right? I'll work another year. It'll give me time to get more money, to put more into my retirement. And so I'll work another year. So I was going to work until December of 2024. And then I met with my financial guy and said, can I retire at the end of 2024? And we did all the maths. And assuming I had a good budget, he said, yeah, you can do it. You can do it within a certain budget, certain constraints. And the thing was, though, I needed to sell my house to get the money to allow me to retire. So it wasn't like I could retire in America in 2024 and just stay in my house. I had to sell the house in order to have a life that I thought would be well-funded and with a high degree of assurance that it was going to last the rest of my life. So, but I got the confirmation from the finance guys that, yeah, you can do it. Okay, great. And then I thought, well, why am I going to wait another 12 months? Why don't I just do it on my birthday in August? Be symbolic, right? And then I thought, and then my wife asked me, so should I be looking for another job if they're going to be retiring in August? It's be weird if I get a job and then 6 months later I'm going to quit. And I said, well, just interview anyway. And then slippery slope, I said, why am I waiting till August? Because I'm working all summer. I want to take advantage of the summer. Why don't I just retire right now? So I did that in May of 2024. May the 17th, actually, was my brother's birthday. So those were the way my mind works is once you get, it's like you go to a car dealership, you say, I'll just have a look. And then before you know it, you bought a car. So I just had a smell of what it would be like to be retired. Remember I told you they had a forced 1 week shutdown, my company? Well, my wife and I went to Hawaii and we stayed in a beautiful orchard, in a beautiful villa for about 10 days. And then we came back to America and said, holy shit, I want more of that. So all these things sort of built up in my head, and I watched a few videos, I watched a few vloggers, and they were all talking about retire as soon as you can. You cannot buy time. You don't know how long we have to live. All those things built up in my head. And so I got this momentum going to retire. And best thing I've ever done. Best thing I could have done. And think about your triggers. What's going to trigger you to retire early? What are your personal triggers other than getting laid off? So remember that one, folks. Retire on your own terms. Don't wait to get laid off. Have a plan and execute your plan the way you want to do it. And I will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.